Welcome back on this glorious and amazing day to part 4, Is Molestation Blown Out of Proportion? So just as in the biological immune system, you have the white blood cells count, which are high, that keeps the body safe, and the lower it goes, the more chance you have for infection and disease. With the emotional immune system is the same way. A high white blood cell count would be 11,000. A low is 4,000. Anything lower than 4,000, that's already extremely unhealthy, and we need a higher count. Omega-3, zinc, copper, those are the things that strengthen the white blood cells. Now, I believe when a child is born, they're born extremely healthy. The majority of human beings are born healthy. The emotional immune system is very high, closer to 11,000 than to 4,000 if you want to use the numbers just as an analogy. Our bodies can handle emotional, physical abuse. The emotional immune system is lowered, we begin to question ourselves, our self-esteem is hurt, but I believe we're still in the safe zone. The only abuse that could really shoot down the emotional immune system is molestation, as we spoke about in different clips of what it does to the brain. And very quickly, it changes gears into PSD, hypervigilance. And what I want to do in this clip, just explain a little bit of what the body goes through and how the emotional immune system is deeply damaged within a minute or two, very, very quickly. And then in other clips, in the further clips, explain what the effects are in a tangible way. So survivors that watch this, when you watch this, you can understand yourself and you know you're not crazy, although most people have no clue what's really happening internally, and they will judge you, and they will question you, and they will say you're blowing things out of proportion, you're seeking attention, that happened 15 years ago, get over it, so on and so forth. If I want to use an analogy of the level of how the emotional immune system just drops, imagine walking into a room and 4 or 5 people are sitting in front of you by a table, and both their arms is rested on the table, no sleeves on their arms, and you walk into that room and you decide to be silly, and you have a bag of salt in your hand, and you walk over to the table and you put your right hand into the bag of salt, and you start throwing salt at all the people sitting there by the table on their hands. They'll all give you various looks like, what the heck is your problem, why? Each and every one will just go like that. We'll just brush the salt off. From the 5 individuals that were sitting there in that room, some of them asked, some of them yelled, some of them laughed. Everyone reacted in a different way. Yet one of them began to yell so loud, and she grabbed her chair and she threw it at this fellow that threw the salt. Everyone looked at her the way you're thinking right now, and they go, whoa, she is overreacting. Like, chill, it's just a joke. Of course you get upset, but why are you yelling? Why would you throw chairs? Why would you act like you're out of control? And it doesn't stop there. And then all the judgment comes. Instead of the understanding kicking in, the judgment comes in. One person turns to her and says, you really should go see someone. You have anger management issues. The other one says, is it that time in the month? And the third one says, where's logic? Like, why can't you take a joke? And the fourth one says, you know what? It just happened to all of us. I mean, just look at us. Why would you react like that? And if this bothers you, you can never go through life. I know you agree with all 4, but can I share another piece of information that might change your mind? The other piece of information is the fifth person no one noticed when she came into the room to sit side by side with the other four people. She got a massive cut on her hand that wasn't stitched up and that wasn't healed yet. It just happened a half an hour before. She came into the room with huge pain, and she just acted as everything is good. No one even noticed, but she had a 7-inch cut. Her skin was cut open. That's precisely what means a low emotional immune system. She did not overreact. When the fellow walks in and throws salt on everyone, it's just on their skin. They're protected. The salt doesn't affect a thing. This one individual that yelled and went totally out of control, as we would call it, she had an open wound. The salt actually went into her hand. It was extremely painful. Now, this is an easy analogy to grasp, to understand, to comprehend, because if this would happen in front of you, I could ask that woman to come over and say, look at her hand. You see the open wound, and you go, holy moly, let's look after her. Let's call the ambulance. Let's take care of her. Let's stop the bleeding. Let's clean the salt out. She must be in such pain. The problem with molestation, the problem with a low emotional immune system is that you cannot see it. That's why it's so painful when parents and friends say, why are you depressed? You have everything going for you. You have all the money you want. You have all the intelligence you want. You have the friend. Everything is going well for you. I mean, why would you feel that way? That's to me equivalent to go over to that woman that got the salt in her wound to say, you're wearing a $2,000 dress. I don't understand. Shouldn't you be happy? Thank you. You got it. Have a wonderful day.